guys, welcome again to my channel. In this video we are going to be learning how to draft a pencil skirt. This is beginner friendly. It's going to be a very detailed video. Okay, so the first thing as a beginner when you want to draft your pencil skirt is to go ahead and just take your measurements, divide your measurements, your waist measurement, your hip circumference, and the length of the skirt you're working with. Okay, for for this skirt, for this tutorial, I'll be doing a 3/4 skirt. Okay, for my pattern paper here now, I'm having 31 inches. So this is what I'm having. Okay, 31.5. I'll work with this. 31.5. Now the first thing to do is to go ahead now and just measure, place your tape from your waist to your hip area. Now note that this measurement is not fixed. Okay, there are some persons their waist measurement is their hip from waist to hip is 7 inches, others 8, others 9. Just measure. For me, my waist to my hip is 9 inches. Okay, so I'll just measure like this and do a line. Okay, so this is what I'm having. Then also place your tape from your waist to your knee. Now note, if it's a short skirt you're making, that part will just be the full length. No need to take no need to measure the knee measurement again. But for this is a 3/4 skirt I'm making. Okay, so I'll just measure my knee. My waist to my knee is 24 inches. Okay, so I'll just go ahead again and make a rule. Now the waist measurement I'm working with, my waist measurement is, I'll label this is my hip and this is my knee measurement. Okay, while this is my waist. My waist is 32 inches. 32 when you divide by 4 is going to give you 8 inches. Now note the reason why we are dividing by 4 is because we want to cut this now is a pattern paper. By the time I want to cut my fabric, I'm expected to place my fabric on fold. Do you get? I'm expected to place on fold while cutting. So it's like I'm getting the half of my waist measurement. So that's why we divide by 4. So I'll open it again. When I divide by 4, 32 is going to give me 8 inches. So I'll just mark like this. Now note this is my center front. This is my center front. Then this is my center back. Okay. So this is 8 inches. I'll go ahead and mark like this. Then my hip is 42 inches. When I divide, I get 10.5. So just go ahead and divide your hip. Whatever you're having, just mark as you see me do. Then when I come to the knee area, now this is totally depending on what you want. If you want it, pencil, you want to taper in, you can take away 2 inches from your hip measurement and place whatever you're having. Like as I'm having 10.5 here, my knee, I'll come here and mark 8.5. That is taking away 2 inch. But sometimes taking away 2 inch from the knee area, it will make that part look too pencil. So most times what I do, I work with 1 inch, or sometimes I work with 1.5. But for this tutorial, I'm going to take away 1.5 inch for my hip measurement. So that means if I'm having 10.5, are you seeing it now? 10.5, take away 1.5 inch, that's going to give me 9 inches. So at this my knee area, I'm going to work with 9 inches. Then at this 3/4, the full length, I'm still going to minus half an inch from this full length. So that means the full length now for the skirt, I'm taking away 2 inches from the hip area. I hope that is not confusing. My full length now, I'm taking away 2 inches from the hip area. So that means the hip area that is 10.5, I'm going to work with 8.5. I hope that is clear. I'm going to work with 8.5. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to connect these lines together. You can see if I'm using my curve rule, I'll just connect from here to here. Okay, I'm just connecting the points together. Then I connect now to this part, placing my curve rule like this again. I'll just connect from here to this way. Okay, you can see what we are having. Then I connect now straight to the hem. All right, so this is what I'm having now for my front bodies. The next thing to do, all right, so now this is what I'm having. All right, so the next thing to do, you're going to take that. Note, I've not drafted out the back pattern, and this pencil skirts, we are going to draft it in a way that we're going to contour the underboard, the back pattern, like the butt. We're going to contour the butt. So you see people wearing skirts and it's not just flat, looking flat at the back. No. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to do that, creating giving the butt a very fine look. Okay, so the next thing for this front pattern, we're going to take our dart. All right, so the that measurement is usually the nipple to nipple measurement. That's what we work with. So mine is 4 inches. Okay, now your dart is not expected to stop at your hip area. Do you get? It's not expected to stop at your hip area. You're supposed to come up from your hip area with like 2 inches or 3 inches. But normally, I usually work with 6 inches for my front dart. So what I'm going to do, I'll just go ahead now like this and place my 4 inches, 4 inch like this. Okay, I'll just connect first using a straight rule, connecting a 4 inch to the waist. Okay, I'm going to come up from this, just come up and check my 6 inches. This way I'm going to stop. So at the right side, you connect half an inch to the right and half an inch to the left. Okay, do you see what we are having? So I'll just connect to this way like this, and also connecting to this way like this. Okay, now note now, when we take out this dart, by the time you measure half an inch, it's going to give you 1 inch. So by the time you take it from here now, it will shorten this waist measurement. So first thing to do, you're going to replace this dart measurement at this waist area and connect your hip to your hip area, because the dart is not getting to the hip, so you just blend like this. So note, this is not your seam allowance, this is just the replacement of the darts that we are taking here. So the next thing, I'll just go ahead and draft my back pattern. Whatever I've done here, I'll just replace here, then I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've gone ahead now to draft out the back. You can see whatever I just did here, that was the same thing I did here. The only difference is I left 1 inch now for the zipper. No, the back, there's usually zipper at the back, so I just left 1 inch straight down for the zipper. And also for the dart back, I work with 5 inches for the length. Okay, because the back dart is shorter than the front dart. Okay, so what we're going to do next now, at this center front, we're going to come down here by 1 inch and connect back to the waistline. Now the essence of coming down by 1 inch is to avoid those folding from the front. So you come down by 1 inch at this way. Okay, then what for the front now, we're going to raise the back pattern now. Sorry, the back. We're going to raise the back by 1 inch. I'm going to add extra pattern paper, so I'll be able to raise this back. Okay, so just Okay, so I've gone ahead to add extra fabric to my pattern. All right, so what I'm going to do next now, I want to raise this back. Now, the essence of raising the back pattern is so that when you sit properly, it won't be coming down. Are you seeing it? From this, you can go ahead now from the zipper, you just add 1 inch. Are you seeing it? 1 inch. So we're going to blend to this way. From this way, you just connect to the 1 inch like this. Okay, so this is what we are having. So next now we're going to work on the butt side. This is what we are having. Now what you do, either you place your tape from your waist to under of your butt, or you come down from your hip area. This is your hip area. You come down from this area by 7 inches and mark. Okay, you find out when you take your measurement from your waist to under of your butt and add extra 2 inches and coming down from your hip area with like 7 inches, you find out that it's almost the same measurements. Okay, so what you're going to do when you come down like this, you're going to go in by 1 inch. Okay, you go in from here by 1 inch. Just watch what I do, please, and connect your. Are you seeing it? You just go in by 1 inch. Okay, so I said to create that bump at the back. All right, so the first thing you're going to do, I said you're going to come down from your hip area by 7 inches and mark. Okay, so let me extend my hip, my line to this way. So this is the 7 inches. Now note this is your zipper allowance. Okay, so I'm just writing now the zipper. All right, so when you come down by 7 inches, you are going in by 1 inch. So it's like the 1 inch you're leaving for the zipper. Just at this area, you're going to take it out. So I'm marking this way now. All right, so what you're going to do is just to blend to this way. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to blend now or connect now to the to this mark like this. Okay, so this is what I'm having. Then at this upper part now, the waist part, we're going to go in about 1/2 inch, still from the zipper area, and blend back. We're just trying to create that bump at the back. Okay, now you can see what we are having. We're already having that curve at the back. So now this, we don't need this anymore. Instead for we to work with all this, the zipper line, our zipper line is just going to end here. We don't need this. Now, if we go ahead and cut like this, by the time you want to join the front and the back pattern together, you find out that the back pattern is now, how will I put it, is smaller, okay, because of this. Because you know you're still going to sew. You're still going to sew using your 1 inch. So from here, this 1 inch, we're going to replace at the side seam. So we just, now we are still going to check from here to 7 inches at the side seam. Now we're going to replace the 1 inch that we're going to cut out from the back pattern. I hope it's not confusing, please. I'm just replacing my 1 inch. Then we're going to blend back now. Okay, so I'll just blend back my 1 inch from this way. You can see the way I'm placing my curve, sorry, my rule. Okay, then take it straight down, so that by the time you're done stitching, the back and the front pattern will be equal. All right, so this is what I'm having for this down. Just blend this way. Okay, just connect to this way and blend very well. This to replace whatever thing we have taken out from that way. And also this half an inch this way that we took in, you're also going to replace. So anything you're doing at this way, you're replacing it at the side seam. Okay, you just replace that again to this way. Now note in this pattern we have not added any seam allowance. Okay, so this is what we are having for our back and front pattern. Next I'm going to cut out. All right, so I'm just cutting out my pattern so I can use it now to cut out my fabric. Okay, so this is for my front pattern. I'll also cut out this part like this. Now you can see what we are having for the front pattern. Okay, so let me cut out the back pattern so it won't be looking confused. Okay, so this is the final line that we worked with for the side seam. I'm just going to cut it out like this. Okay, then for this part, see the, okay, I'm cutting out this part that is not needed as well. Then this, I said we're taking this out. Can see the way I'm cutting. I'm taking this out, okay. Okay, then you cut out from here as well. Okay, so you can, all right, so you can see what we are having. This is our back pattern and this is our front pattern. You can see that the back, it's not looking straight. So that's when you're done sewing, it will give you that a perfect curve or perfect fit at the back. So next I'm going to bring my fabric and transfer my pattern on it. Okay, so I can cut it out because note we've not added any seam allowance. I'm going to add the seam allowance in my fabric. Let me put this aside. Okay, so I placed my pattern on my fabric. Okay, now see what I did is unfold. Okay, so I placed it on fold, then I placed it on it like this. You know, this is the center front, so it's expected to be like this. So I'll just go ahead and pin this way, and I'll pin this way. Okay, so like I said, we've not added any seam allowance, so I'm going to work with 1 inch seam allowance. Now the seam allowance is all the way from the waistline to the hem. I'm just adding 1 inch seam allowance all through. Okay, so this is what I'm having. I'm going to connect it to the hem. Then at this down part, at the hem part, I'm going to leave extra 2 inch 2 inch allowance, you know, because I'm going to use lining on it. By the time you're done using lining, it will shorten your measurement. So I've not added any allowance before. I'm working with 2 inch hemming allowance. Then at this part, there's going to be a band, so I'm just leaving half an inch at this way. Okay, so this is what I'm having. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so I'll just cut out. Now note for the dart, it's when we are stitching it together, that's when we're going to close up the dart. Just cutting out this front like this. Okay, so this for the front pattern. I'm going to put this aside and bring out my back pattern. Okay, so I placed my back pattern again on my balanced fabric. I placed it on fold as well. So I'm still going to leave a 2 inch seam hemming allowance. Okay, this way. I'm just working with 2 inch. Okay, so note, don't forget this is our center back. That's why I'm not leaving seam allowance there. That's the center back. Okay, so the seam allowance is going to come to the side seam like this. Okay, it's going to the side. So I'm just leaving the same 1 inch that I left for the front. Okay, so don't feel because we added it, we transferred that one here, and you're thinking we've added seam allowance for the back. No, we've not. So this is what I'm adding now. I'm adding the seam allowance now. Okay, so I'm just taking it all the way up. Okay, let me bring closer for you to see. Then the same half an inch I left here, I'm still going to replace at this and I will do the same thing at this way as well. Okay, so just to go ahead now and cut. Note, I'm not leaving anything at this way, so let me bring closer. So just go ahead and cut the back pattern. So like I said earlier, this is for the side. This is for the side seam. Okay, so note you can actually leave 1.5 inch for your side seam. Okay, you can actually leave 1.5, or you can even work with 2 inches, but me I prefer to use to leave 1 inch for my seam. So this is just the same with the pattern. I'm not leaving any seam allowance at this way. So this all for the drafting and the cutting of this. In our next video, I'm going to show you how to sew it, and how to sew it and to achieve a perfect inseam finishing. Okay, so that's what I'm going to show you in our next video. So guys, if this video has been helpful, why not hit on the subscribe button so you get notified whenever I upload new videos. Okay, and also don't forget to like and share. See you in my next video.